This is Super Meat Boy, and this is Super Meat Boy Dark World. It contains some of the hardest levels in the game, and this game is hard. It is so hard that it's actually the first result on Google when you search for hardest games. And this is Tofu Boy. He's one of the worst characters ever. He's so bad that he's a top result when you search for worst characters ever on YouTube. He sucks so hard that he can't make this jump and beat the first level of the game. He's slow, weak, has no friends, and was recently caught messaging minors on Twitter. But what if I told you that this isn't exactly true? That the allegations are false and that he can actually beat the first level of the game? And what if I told you that he can beat some Dark World levels? A lot of Dark World levels. Every level I've shown here so far, and so much more. This is Tofu Boy versus Dark World. To beat Super Meat Boy normally, you have to beat at least 17 levels in each of 5 worlds. But to get the true Dark World ending, you actually have to beat at least 17 levels in the dark version of those worlds. Now, since Dark World is basically Light World, but more, this video is gonna be like the previous Tofu Boy video, but more. So if you've been waiting for a video to fulfill all your Tofu Boy needs, you're in luck. So let's start with, who is Tofu Boy? You may know about PETA's Super Meat Boy parody, Super Tofu Boy. You know, the one where you go through these terrible trials to rescue Tofu Boy's girlfriend, Bandish Girl, from the evil Super Meat Boy. Except he's not actually evil. In the end, it turns out Dr. Fetus was mind-controlling Meat Boy by pumping him full of GMOs. So who really is the bad guy here? It's not Meat Boy since he was being controlled. Is it GMOs? Is it Dr. Fetus? So after this, I guess Meat Boy and Tofu Boy made up and Bandish Girl went back to Meat Boy because they actually team up in Super Meat Boy. But there's actually more to the story. I reached out to one of the main designers and sole programmer, Tommy
Reffinez,
to get more info. He didn't actually agree to an interview, but I got the next best thing. I'm here with
Tommy Reffinez.
Tommy. Is it true that Ed McMillan trolled the PETA forums to kind of lead them to create the Tofu Boy Flash game?
Edmund and I both trolled PETA. We both came up during the golden age of the internet when trolling AOL chat rooms was what the cool kids did. We didn't request them make a game parody, we just pointed out how terrible it was that a game exists that is so focused on meat.
Did anything provoke the trolling? Was it free advertisement? Do you hate vegans?
The trolling was just good fun, honestly. We thought it would be amazing if they responded but didn't imagine they would.
What do you think about Tofu Boy, the Super Meat Boy character?
I love him. In both games, he's just terrible. His animations in Forever upsell his shittiness. Like if he falls too long, he just starts to turn over to the side. He has no control over his body and probably no control over his emotions.
Did you expect anybody to beat Super Meat Boy with Tofu Boy?
No, but I applaud the effort.
Knowing that someone has beat at least 17 levels in each Light World with Tofu Boy, how well do you think he'll do in the Dark World?
Not very, haha.
What is your opinion on the Tofu Boy game made by PETA?
I would bet it cost them more to make that Flash game than it did to make Super Meat Boy. Imagine if they would have used that money to help animals.
Are you sure about that? So in the Tofu Boy game, he doesn't jump very high. But just like Meat Boy, he runs extremely fast. So somewhere down the line, I guess he got out of shape because he runs much slower in Super Meat Boy. And he can't jump high enough to make this jump in 1-1. And this is the Dark World version. So what are we going to do about this? Let me introduce you to the main characters this playthrough. The Alt button. When you press Alt, you can go through walls. How crazy is that? You press it, you move, you press it again, and you go out of the Alt state and you're all the way over here. Completely ignoring collision. But what is actually going on here? In my previous video, @LunaticEdit explained it in a bit more depth. Basically, the glitch works because of how movement is done in the game. Every frame, the game multiplies Tofu Boy's movement by the time that passes. You combine all these mini movements and you get this. When you press Alt, the time is still running. So this movement times time calculation gets very big and really obvious. But that's not all. This is actually one of the questions I asked
Tommy Reffinez,
and he said,
Not sure. Haven't looked at that code in a long time, but my guess is the time step is affected which allows the player to move to a position and not have the swept collision respond properly.
So that pretty much confirms it. So before I did this challenge, I went through every Dark World level and I marked them with one of 3 colors. Green means that the level is definitely possible. Yellow meant that the level was possible, but it was probably going to be a little hard. And red meant that I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. I thought it was impossible or it was going to take an extreme amount of work. So those are going to be the colors that you see on the top right on the numbers. You got that? All right, let's get started. So I know this video basically took me a year to make, but you gotta trust me. I got a lot more ideas and a lot more stuff I want to make, and the next video will not take a year, I promise. So if you enjoy content like this, please like and subscribe the video. It does help a lot. But anyways, you notice when I'm pausing and then jumping a lot? That is called the auto jump glitch. To do that, you just have to hold jump when you pause. Kind of like the alt glitch, it's really easy to do. So here you alt on this little nub here at the edge, and you can walk through and... What was that? Did I just jump in the air? It turns out when Tofu Boy comes out of the alt state, the game still thinks there's ground under him for 1 frame. I guess the movement calculation doesn't factor in that he's in the air yet, so he can actually jump in that frame. The problem is that it takes 1 frame to press the alt button and 1 frame to let go of it. So if I press alt to go out of the alt state, hold it, and jump, he just goes into the alt state again. Oh, by the way, if you're holding alt and press space, you go into the alt state again and you get this little drop down. You can use this to chain quick alts in succession, and it's actually pretty useful if you're surrounded by deadly things. But anyways, if you use the jump glitch, which does a full jump every frame, and then go and use the alt glitch, he actually does a full jump just as he comes out of the alt state. This makes a lot of levels possible, including this one. Yep, and now we're back to just alting all the way across straight to Bandage Girl. Here you have to do it twice. Ooh. Now this was so hard. This was the first real block in the world. You know, besides the impossible levels. Here you have to go up and those disappearing blocks disappear like at a random time. So sometimes you just alt and then you just fall through, but sometimes you can just walk across and actually alt. And this level took me so many tries. You're gonna see, like, it took me multiple days. Oh yeah, of course here I'm cheating. You know, I don't want to die after making it up here at like once in a couple hundred lives, right? So I didn't want to play this level a couple hundred more times, so I really had to make sure there. So here you have to make this tricky jump over that little ledge there. Easy for every character except for Tofu. Oh, there we go, got it. And now we need to make it up here. And then alt on the top here. Yeah. And then go all the way across. And then do the alt jump there. Woo, thank God for that alt jump. But that would have been really precise there. And it would have taken me a couple hundred more tries. And here you can see just how many lives it took me this day, because that level took actually multiple days. And now we'll get to relax a little bit. Just a little bit of an alt jump there to the side. We get to do it twice. This is the level from the intro. Very simple, just alt through the wall. This one was pretty fun because you have to time your alt, get the right distance, and also dodge some saws here. Over here is it's easier to actually alt and jump up from the bottom. So when you're alting at the bottom, I don't know, it's just easier. So then yeah, I go around here because why make life hard? Just make it easy. Go around all the saws and the evil stuff, and then just alt through the wall. So this is the other really scary level in World 1, besides 111. So you have to climb up this left wall here. You have to do it quick enough so that that big saw doesn't swing around and kill you. You have to alt while you're in the air, just in time, just like that, to dodge those little saws. Oh my god, that was so close. And then you have to make this ledge jump. That jump is actually so hard with Tofu Boy because you have to hold right and then left just the right amount. I don't know how frame perfect it is, but it's hard. First time I ever did that, it took me like 20 minutes to do it once. Yeah, I got really lucky. I was so happy with this one. Surprisingly, did not take as many tries as you would think. Because of that ledge jump at the top. Ledge jump at the top, yeah, only second try. I expected that to take me many, many tries. Oh, so After I did this challenge, I found out that there's a way easier way to do this and you don't have to run anything. So everything I did, all my effort was for nothing. You can alt jump over here and there's a hidden bandage girl. Can you believe it? There are some levels that are known to have hidden bandage girls in this game. This is one of them. And it makes the level so much easier. This was pretty fun. You don't actually have to outrun these saws. I just did it for fun. And you can alt through all the obstacles. You can jump over these, but I like to alt because I'm fancy like that. There you go. This one's another one from the intro. You just alt across and Bandage Girl is covered by my webcam. All right. 1-6. The reason I'm showing you this level now is because to beat it, we have to use the third fundamental glitch of this run. I'm calling the alt and jump glitch the other two fundamental glitches because the alt jump is just a combination of the two. So what is this third glitch? Meet storage jumping. This is what they call it in the tool assisted speedrun where I learned it from, but the name is misleading. Basically, whenever Tofu Boy or any character spawns into a level, they spawn in the last state that they were in, aka how they died or beat the level. That can mean a running state, a sliding state, and a falling state. Why is this important? What can you do when you're in the running state? That's right, jump. That's all they use it for in the task, hence the name storage jumping. But what else can you do while you're running? Yup, you can alt. But alt alone isn't enough to beat this level. You still don't have the height to clear this razor. So I did what I do best. I did an alt jump. Pretty cool, huh? That's what I thought when I was trying to figure out how to beat level 1-9. You spawn a little off the ground, so I thought, hey, maybe an alt jump from here will get me to this block and I can take it from there. Well, I tried alt jump storage and this happened. This doesn't make sense. Well, it turns out when you die standing, activate the jump glitch in this frame of time before spawning and alt at the precise first frame that you can move. Tofu Boy doesn't just run in the air, he flies. To not have to call this the jump storage jump alt glitch, I'll just call this a super jump from now on. With this knowledge, we can knock out 1-2, which has these razors that Tofu Boy previously could not jump over. There's another really interesting property of this glitch. Depending on the direction you face when you die, you can clip through certain ceilings. In 1-9, if you're facing left when you die, and hold left when you spawn in with the super jump, you can then die here in a sliding state while facing left again. This means we can super jump again, clip through the roof, but since we're in a sliding state, we can get a wall jump from this non-existing wall. This gives us just enough height to make it to this wall and beat this level. This is so insane. I never would have thought that 1-9 was possible when I first started this challenge. Here's another insane level, 114. I start off by killing myself on the side so that I die standing and I can do a super jump here, mini super jump so that I can die sliding once again, just like in 1-9. And here I super jump as high as I can, and I need the wall to give me that little extra push so I can get over this flat ground here, and I can alt over the razor and make it over here. This one is super precise. It's very, very close to not being possible, but it is. What a crazy level. 1-5. This is the first level I could not beat. Super jump doesn't really help here because you get to the same spot which you can get to normally. If you try to super jump too high, you void out the top. And there's this spot over here that I cannot get past. Boom. I cannot get past those two razors. So you can see there are some gaps next to the razors. On the left side there's not enough room for you to slide down, but on the right there is. So I have a theory. What if when you get over here, you alt as you jump so that you go through the razor while you're airborne, and then right as you land, you jump and alt again and gain enough height while you're in the alt state jumping so that you can land over here. And then from here, you can finish the level. I don't know if this is actually possible, but hey, maybe. And we're finally in World 2, Dark Hospital. There was one level I couldn't beat here. starting off with 2-2. This level is identical to the light level. Just fall off the side. It's pretty fun. And here, you can ult through the side, but there's actually like a hidden thing that kills you off the right, so it's easier to just beat the level normally. So these fans have a pretty interesting interaction with the ult glitch. When they're pushing on you and you ult, they wind up and push, kind of like a spring. And when you let go of the ult glitch, you shoot up like a rocket. Just like that. So you have to do that here a couple of times in the previous level too. Pretty much every level with fans you have to do this because Tofu Boy just doesn't get enough momentum on his own. After making it through the beginning, you just have to do a couple of little bit precise alt jumps here. Then over here, I actually killed myself here many times. You can just make that jump. I didn't know Tofu Boy could make that jump. He can jump a little farther than I thought. What can I say? Yes, I was very happy with that one. 2-6. You can't see much here. So this one I actually went back to after the challenge. I think this was the last level I ever beat. And I was just so mad that I had not beaten it. It's not hard at all. It's just, there's just one part, you'll see. Here, this jump here, can Tofu Boy make it up to that little ledge there? No, look at that. So close, right? And this bothered me for days. But it turns out sometimes when you're jumping off a wall, like when you do the auto jump on this little platform here, it's like you're jumping off a wall and you get just barely enough height. And oh my god, that took me so long to figure out. I had a crazy pop off for this one. Let's listen in. All right, 2-7. This one's super fun. This level was made for Tofu Boy because it's like a little puzzle to try to get down. This one was actually so much fun. Tofu Boy has a hard time going up, but he falls just like anyone else. Oh yeah, so over here, have to make it as high as possible, go down, do some alt jumps, and then these platforms descend, you know, they have descending height, so you just alt jump from one platform to the next. This one here is very similar to some of the levels on the first world. You have to be a little careful about these red guys here. You can see that they pause during the ult glitch. Pay attention to that because not all enemies do. Okay, super jump time. Woohoo! Yeah, from here, get alt to Bandage Girl. This is also the case for 211 Light World. Maybe I'll show that off sometime. It was previously impossible in the last video, 211 Light World. Oh, here it is. Never mind. I put it in the video. Hello. There it is. 211 Light World and Dark World. Light World is a little harder. Super simple here. Just ulting inside of Bandage Girls. Locks don't mean anything to Tofu Boy. So over here, remember how some enemies freeze? These don't. They seem to randomize when they pop up, but they're actually moving throughout the ult. When you're ulted out of the game, they keep moving. So this one's pretty cool. This one is just barely possible in the way I did it. Thankfully, this big plump here in the middle is long enough so that you don't void out off the side of the level when you ult. You have to be careful when using the ult glitch because the screen doesn't scroll with you. So if you go out too much to the side, you actually void out and die. This is another one of those really hard levels. I was actually trying very, very long in this one on the day I beat it. But then I went back. I mean, I took a break. I took like a 10-minute break. And then I went back. And on the first try, on my way back, I beat it. But trust me, this one took me multiple days to beat. And these lasers, it's in a way where if the laser's on, you can ult for it. Doesn't matter if it's 5 seconds or 5 minutes. When you get out of the ult, the laser will be off. And it just has that weird property. So I use that to my advantage here to time the jumps over the laser. Make a little bit of precise jump there. A little reverse jump. It's a little harder. It might be as hard as it seems because it looks pretty hard to me. I don't know about you. And then here, you see that ledge? That big ledge on the top? That's Tofu Boy's worst enemy. You have to hold right for just long enough and then hold left on the right frame. I don't know how frame perfect it is, but it is so hard. The first time I ever did it, it took me like 20 minutes to get it once. But, you know, after you play Tofu Boy enough, he changes you. And I changed, let me tell you. I got pretty dang consistent at these. And by pretty dang consistent, I mean I can do them like once every 100 times or something like that. But that's a lot better than it was before. And here you can ult This level you can also do normally. It's a little bit harder. I just ulted through because I'm not about that life. I'm about the easy life when I can get it. Hey, Tofu Boy's hard enough, you know? Here is a little bit of moving up with the laser. Other characters can probably go more than one ledge at a time, but not Tofu Boy. And over here, this ledge is pretty hard to get up in one try before the lasers come out, so I'm not gonna do that. Haha, I go around the outside. And then here, I'm gonna time it when the laser turns on the right, and then alt jump, so I don't have to climb as high, because Tofu Boy climbs pretty slow, you know. And then time it, the laser's on, so alt, there you go, and climb. Go, Tofu Boy, go! Ooh, even that high, the laser almost got me. So here you can get some keys. Thankfully, you don't need to go around. You don't need to climb the lasers anymore. 220. This level was pretty hard in the light version, and it's pretty much identical in the dark one. Just climb up. It's actually really fun. I love these levels that give you some kind of a challenge, and they are possible. They're doable, and you can tell that they're doable. But it's just that they're just challenging, you know. These were probably the most fun. The ones that I didn't know were possible were very satisfying to beat, but I don't know if they were as fun as these. Oh, by the way, I keep saying for Tofu Boy, any character can alt, but only Tofu Boy needs to alt. So to me, alt is part of Tofu Boy. So jumping over here, and then this alt jump, you can barely make it. Yeah, it took me a couple of tries. Actually, it took me forever to figure out that you could even make that jump. So 2-1 is my least favorite level in the game, because it's not possible. And why isn't it possible? You're not gonna believe this. Check us out. Just all through. Look at Bandage Girl. I can't. Tofu Boy cannot jump high enough to reach her. Can you believe it? And he is so close. Oh my god, so dumb. World 3, Dark Salt. Also one level I couldn't do here. So here, 3-1, there's a couple ways to do it. You could probably go through the right, but I thought it was easier to just alt off this ledge here next to the saw, and you can just make it up here. Now here, go through the wall, easy peasy. And then this one, you could do this one, I think, normally, but I'm not about that life. I'm about going around. Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, and here's where I found out that Bandage Girl is actually not on the right side of the map. She's actually in the middle. So then I just ulted down. I could have done that way easier. I could have just ulted from the start there. Oh, shoot. Did you see that? That was crazy. I ulted just for just a little bit so I could go through that saw. And then I have to get some keys here. And then... yeah. When you're on those conveyors and you ult, it acts just like the fans. It actually launches you up like a rocket. This level you can also do normally. And then I went up to do it normally, but then I realized Bandage Girl was down there. These are all together. Okay, this first jump here is probably the hardest part of this level. A little bit precise, a little bit far away, so you have to time it with the music. Oh yeah, you see me nodding my head, right? So I'm timing the alt with the beats of the song. So here I have to get this key. This key opens up the first half of the door that blocks us off from Bandage Girl. 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. Oh yeah, when you alt, the keys bounce up. Remember that. This will be important. That's actually really important for this challenge. It ends up saving me in later levels. I don't know why they do that. If you know why they do that, like, comment, and subscribe. Yep, get that key. Oh, you see the key that fell down on the right? Thankfully, I don't need that one. Just time this alt jump here. It's a little bit far. Any alt that's a little bit far is a little hard. Oh yeah, and of course, when you're falling fast enough and you alt, you can actually clip through the ground. But I never got enough speed here. But then I realized, hey, I can just alt to the right. What am I doing? Hey, what are you doing, dude? Come on. Yeah, there you go. Took him long enough. Woohoo! I was so proud of that. Alright, 3-8. This one was so hard. This one took me a couple of days to do. When they're red, it means they take me a couple of days to do. You have to dodge these rockets. And this rocket here, this is the main culprit. You have to be so precise because you have to alt right before the rocket gets you and right after it passes you. Because if you don't do it quick, you don't get any height when you're climbing this wall here. And over here, you have to alt to dodge this rocket too. No big deal. And then over here, that rocket's coming for me, but I'm 2 steps ahead. Boom. Around it. Get Bandage Girl. That level was hard. Back to the easy ones. Oh, feels so good to be on the easy cheesy ones. Oh yeah, 310. This one took me a while. I actually went all the way to the right, and then I figured out the Bandage Girl was on the left. It was your Bandage Girl's in another castle. You can see here in the replay, a lot of tries went to the right there. Whoop. Where are you going? This is not the right way. Oh my god. 312. Hardest level in the game. We're here already. First of all, you have to ult through those saws and now climb and ult through those rockets. As you're climbing, ulting is very precise. You have to do it very quickly so that you still gain height. And those rockets come at your supersonic speed, so they're very hard to react to. And then once you get enough of those, you make it up here. And now I'm going to ult and wait out a cycle of that elevator going up. And you'll see why in a second. Alright, cool. The elevator's passes. Now, as soon as it respawns, I'm going to ult again, so that the bottom half of the elevator of death is actually outside of the ult range, so that it moves up and the top half was in the ult range and they clump together. You see that? So then when I was falling, I ulted. Only had to do it once, or else I would have had to ult through both layers of the saw. And then if you ult for too long, you fall down the bottom. There's so many parts of this level that can kill you. And of course, the second time going up here, I had to ult through the rockets. The first time you do it, the timing is pretty much the same every time, so you can kind of just time it. But the second time is always variable because you always get there like at a different timing. So you actually have to react to those. And over here, I waited for a cycle of the rocket to pass me up again. And then I only ulted to the left when I knew that the rocket would be despawned, so I could climb the left side there and not be shot at. Let's go. My god. That level is crazy. In the light world, this was the easiest one that was previously deemed impossible. And in the dark world, it's even easier because there's this little ledge here that you can ult off of. And here I'm just contemplating my life and wondering, why is this level so much easier in the dark world than in the light world? And then I'm just gonna ult to the right and get Bandage Girl. 315, we're gonna start off by ulting to the side so we can die standing, so we can do a super jump. This is the hardest level with a super jump that I could actually do, because there are potentially harder ones that I cannot do. That might be impossible, but we're not going to talk about those. So over here, what makes this level so hard is all these ledge jumps. You remember the level in the hospital with the one ledge jump that took me forever to do, and I said that level was really hard? Well, this level has 2 of them. And that was one right there, and here comes the second one. Thankfully, in this one, when you fall down and you fail it, you can jump off the wall on the left, or you can fall on the elevator going up, and sometimes that saves you. And after that, just ult the Bandage Girl. And then thankfully, it doesn't seem like there are that many levels that are super hard in a row. So if you try to ult from the very start here to Bandage Girl, the salt actually kills you. But from here, you can do it. This spot is 1 block higher from where you spawn. Oh yeah, and guess how I do this level? Well, whatever you guess is wrong, because there's this little gap here at the top, and you can just ult through the roof. Yeah, that was... Oh man, I tried so hard in that level, and I was so happy when I found out about that thing. 320 is pretty much identical to the light world version, except for the rockets are a little bit faster. And that makes it a surprising amount harder, especially over here. This rocket that's shooting on top of you. It's really hard to react to it, especially when it's directly over you. You can see it took out a lot of little Tofu boys here. 3-2 is impossible. 3-2 Light World is already impossible, and this one is basically Light World, but you start all the way at the bottom, so definitely not possible. You can actually super jump and make it pretty far up the level, but then you run into the same problems you run into in the Light World. And here's the Light World version. If we pretend that we make it this far in the Dark World version, we eventually run into this, and you can't make it over this salt mound. Tofu Boy cannot jump far enough. You can't alt jump from it. Over here, that was pretty much the best alt jump I've ever gotten there, and as you can see, it was not enough. And just like the light level, You can't go back in through the roof. The alt glitch doesn't clip you through stuff when you're in the air, only when you're walking. World 4, Dark Hell. Also one level I couldn't do here. Are we picking up some kind of pattern? Hell is where the difficulty really ramps up in a normal playthrough. And this is no different. I mean, it kind of is because we get some freebie levels, but there are a lot more yellow and red levels in Hell than there were before. 4-2. In the light world, this is one of the hardest levels because there's a really precise jump at the very end of the level. But in the dark world, not so much. And the reason is because there's this platform on top there. You see it? And we can actually do something pretty cool to get on top of it. We're going to wait for the next cycle and then alt and time it with the platform passing by. And then auto jump and get on top of here. And then from here, we can alt to this middle platform. And from here, we can alt jump to the very end of the level. It's a pretty far one. And the reason we don't void out the side there is because the level scrolls. And when you can scroll up it to the side, you have a little bit more room versus where if the level was just static. 4-5 is actually way easier in the dark world than in the light world. We're going to start with a super far alt jump to the right. Pretty much as far as you can go. And then alt off these platforms here that the light world version does not have. Which is why this version is so much easier than the light version. 4-6. Easy peasy. Alting across. 4-7. Easy peasy. Alting across. More razors don't mean anything if you can phase through them. 4-8 super hard. 4-8 light worlds is also pretty hard, but this was way harder because those meatballs come at you way more often and they're way faster. Are they cheese balls or meatballs? What do you think? Leave a like in the comments. So sometimes when you alt, they get out of sync and you can actually make them overlap, and that makes it super easy. But in this run where I actually beat it, that didn't happen. Over here, you're going to see that I'm going to alt in place a couple times trying to get them to sync, but nothing's happening. So I'm like, screw it. Let's just go up and go for the jump and YOLO it. Here you can see me getting impatient. Oh, there we go. Jump. And right as the cheese ball launches, alt and go through it. Boom. Nice one. Yeah, you can see this one took so many tries. You can barely see any red in between the Tofu boys there. 4-9, easy cheesy. Thank you for the freebie. 4-10 is kind of weird. See, you see those empty spots in between the wall? You can get inside some of them. Look at this one. You can get inside of it and actually make it to the end. But the one at the top right there, you actually cannot get inside of it. I was trying to get into that one for a bit. And you just fall, go through that entire wall. That one's completely solid. 4-11 is actually insane. You haven't seen one of these in a while, huh? I void out to the side and kill myself standing, and then I can super jump, go through the roof, and get this key, and boom, bam, beam, warp back, and get Bandage Girl. 4-13, I kill myself standing, facing right, and when I do that and hold right, I can warp through the key ceiling. And then from here, alt jump just gets you barely enough height to reach Bandage Girl. 4-14, actually a lot easier than the light world level because you start off at the top. And with Tofu Boy, it's always easier to go down than it is to go up. 4-15, super fun. You have to alt and climb through those rockets. In the light world, this level was one of the hardest. In the dark world, we do that so often that it's not even like in the top 10 or top 20. .418 is a harder version of 416 because you have to climb up and all through the giant rockets with teeth, but you have to climb up a lot more, and you also have to do some platforming. Oh, be careful for that one. This one here, oh, you don't even react to that one. You have to have the timing ingrained into you to be able to dodge that one. Only a special few can do it, and then just alt to Bandage Girl. That one was pretty hard. Any level that you have to dodge rockets while climbing, if they feel super cool to do it. You feel like Neo from the Matrix, but man, are they hard. There, just speedrun it, just alt fall through the floor there. And then 420, one of the hardest levels in the game. Not hard for Tofu Boy. Just face through the wall. Oh man, this one is so close. You can do a super jump here and just barely not be high enough to make it to this ledge up here. If you super jump for too long, you face through the top. And then I could not. Maybe there's a secret magic Goldilocks height that'll make it so that you can make it up on this ledge. And then from there, you can pretty much beat the rest of the level. But I could not figure out that height. And this is as far as I can make it. World 5 Dark Rapture, and you guessed it, one level I couldn't beat. That's right, every world had one level I couldn't beat as Tofu Boy. Starting off with 5-1, and you can tell immediately that things are a little bit different here. You can see the camera is zoomed out here a little bit more than before. It's because these levels are big and they have a lot of obstacles. That also means that it is challenging, and even when he can cheese some levels, a lot of them are not cheesable, and this world honestly took a long time for me to beat. Thankfully, there are these destructible blocks here at the left. If not, this level would be impossible. They put those there just for Tofu Boy. Ooh, thank you, devs. Thank you, Tommy Refine. When you alt and you're on top of these light bulbs, they push you away. Boom. And you can make it very, very far. You can go through walls, go through ceilings, go through everything while you're alting. And over here, thankfully, this building to the right, yeah, it has a wall on the right side. They didn't make it just go on forever. Thank you once again, developers. They made Rapture just for Tofu Boy. He even blends in. He's even in the color scheme. This level is like his world. And here we are at 5-3, probably the hardest level in Rapture if you're playing casually. One of the hardest levels in the game for sure. And yeah, over here we choose to go to the right because we need this key here. This will unlock the top lock, which we need to go down. And kind of like the level from before where there were some locks surrounding Bandage Girl, we're going to alt to get through them, but we can't really alt to the side to go down. So what are we going to do? Well, here after going around and getting back, turns out if you jump from high enough and you're alting while you're sliding down, you can go through the floor, but you have to be alting from high enough, so you have to get enough speed. Something about the speed that makes that work. Here's 5-4. 5-4 Light World is the hardest level in the Light World. Not the hardest level in the game, as I learned from this challenge. 5-4 Dark World is actually a lot easier, and it's because of this part here. You can just climb up the left side of this wall, and there's this safe floor here that you can just take your time and calmly alt off of to get to this light bulb. Then you alt so you can make it far enough over here. This light bulb, while it's pushing you, you have to alt for a little bit longer, so the timing's tricky. Yeah, and then when you're on that light bulb, you have to alt right away to go through that razor. 5-5 is the first freebie in Rapture. 5-6 is pretty cool. You're supposed to press these buttons that are supposed to open up part of these walls, and then you can jump through them, press more buttons, and open up more parts of the walls. But we're not going to do any of that. We're going to jump over here to this ledge on the right, and then from here we can alt jump to this ledge where we can reach the very top here and alt to Bandage Girl. I actually made this level yellow because I thought I'd be able to press the button and then make it through the opening in the wall in time. But it turns out Tofu Boy can't do that, so I had to beat it in a really roundabout way. Here you can see some Tofu Boys trying to press that button. Oh, if only he had more iron. 5-7, once again, thank you devs for this hole here on the left. They made that just for Tofu Boy. Appreciate it. Ah, 5-8. This one's pretty easy. You don't really need to do any glitches to do it. Just kidding. So there are two ways to enter the alt state. One is you press alt and then you let go of it, and boom, you're in the alt state. The second way is you press alt and then you press space. So why is that useful? To get out of the alt state, you just have to press alt. You don't have to let go of it. So if you want to like get out and then get back into the alt state really quick, you press alt and then press space really quick. And then you're like out of the alt state for like 1 frame. So I do that a couple times here to keep falling, minimizing the danger to me. And I died to these 3 razors here more than I like to admit. Another cool thing about Rapture is that it's the world where you get to channel your inner King Crimson. So when you alt and these zombie meat boys are running towards you, they just keep running and they'll run and run forever and they can fall off the map. But I don't really need to do that. I just need to alt a little bit to go through them. And here's the part where I test if you're paying attention. You remember when I said that when you alt, the keys bounce for some reason? Well, now it's actually important, because without it, I wouldn't be able to reach these keys down here. So thank God for that. I'm able to reach these keys, open the gate, and get Bandage Girl. 511's pretty cool. In 511 Light World, I think I put this one as a yellow, or it was considered too hard for the original guy for Horseman, the original guy who did the challenge. But here, our standards are a little bit higher, so this one is a green. Did not take me very long at all. Once you know to alt off of that light bulb on the right there and get it up here, you can just alt all the way to the right, and you go through those blocks and through that ceiling, and you can just alt to Bandage Girl. Yeah, shout outs to Horseman, or Plasma Man is his real name. Without him, I wouldn't even know about this challenge. 512. If you're playing any other character, you can go up on the left here, or on the right, like in the middle in between. But with Tofu Boy, you have to go this way. You have to climb up this disappearing and reappearing block. Tofu Boy can just barely climb up it fast enough. And as you can see, he's getting it just a little bit of height every time. So after you do that a couple times, you can make it up here. And from here, make it through those keys or through those locks. He doesn't need to do that. So these disappearing and reappearing blocks are kind of like the lasers. If you alt and they're off, it doesn't matter if you wait 5 seconds or 5 minutes, they will be on when you come out of the alt state. You can really see that in this level. It's off, so I'm gonna alt, jump on it, turns on. The next one's off, jump on it. Yep. I just have to take a look at the next platform and make sure that it's turned off. Then when I come out of the alt, it'll be on. Ah, 515. This level is green, but it is actually so annoying. It's hard normally. It's harder for Tofu Boy, even with the alt glitch. You know, like anything else, you have to watch out for these maggots here. You have to watch out for the wall of salt that's coming in. It kills you when the right side of that wall is touching you. The big part of the left part is safe, but you can't see anything while it's over you. So like, what's the point? Oh, what? Another easy level in Rapture? I can't believe it. 517, so hard, and you'll never guess why. If you guess that it's because there are rockets everywhere, then you'd be right. I'm gonna open this gate here just for fun. Have to dodge these rockets, have to dodge this rocket here, go into the inside, and this rocket here shoots so fast. This is the fastest shooting rocket in the game. And you have to climb up this thing. The rocket's in your face, and you have to time those ults right when the rocket's shooting you. Boom! No reaction time at all. I died to that thing so many times. I had to freaking ingrain the timing into my bones. Did I mention I died to that rocket a lot? And then this one, super easy with a super jump. Without it, good freaking luck getting on this platform. And then when you're on it, boom, alt the bandage girl. Man, thank God for that super jump. 519, we're almost at the end. Lucky for us, this is pretty much a straight shot to bandage girl. Just go to the right. Boom, boom, boom. Alt, alt, alt. Ignore the rockets, just alt through everything. Alt, alt, Tofu Boy, alt. And over here, we can just climb the elevator. Zoom. Up. Zoom. There we go. And this razor here, if you were to break those and try to jump under it, it would shoot you really, really fast, and it would be impossible to get through that. So you need to alt. Here is 520, the last level in the game that Tofu Boy can do. Starting with a classic, the alt jump to go through the wall and jump up on the floor. Then waiting for the platform to be off so we can start the alt and jump on top of it. From here, we can alt to the final section. There's a little hole in the middle there that you can land on, but you can just make it all the way over here. And you can just alt the bandage girl. Definitely not the hardest level in the game. So 513 is impossible. You can actually make it pretty far with the super jump. You can make it all the way up here, and then from here you can alt on that little nub there. You can make it all the way up here, and if you time it right, somehow maybe you can climb up on that wall there. Tofu Boy can jump high enough to make it there, but man, then you'd have to time the next one and then the next one, and that's just ridiculous. That's like way too absurd for me. So I don't know, maybe a task could do it. So that settles that. A quick recap before I show you the final results. I couldn't do 1-5 because of these two razors here in the middle. I couldn't do 2-1 because bandage girl is too high. I can't jump high enough to reach her. I couldn't do 3-2 because of this big salt mound in the middle. It's too big to jump across. I couldn't do 4-3 because this cliff here is too high to reach with a super jump. And I couldn't do 513 because it is way too hard. These blocks here disappear and reappear, and Tofu Boy has a hard time climbing quick enough to get on top of them before they disappear. And this is the final list. One level in each world. These levels are the final bosses of those worlds, if you will. There you go.
キングクリムゾンの世界では無意味な行為であることに変わりなかったら。くらえ！何！
Sucker.